Hi everybody, I hope y'all are doing well. I hope y'all are having a great day today. My name is Nydia and this is my channel about non-duality and the twin flame journey, although you are already your own twin flame. So if you're new here, I welcome you to watch this video, and if you like this sort of content, please subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you as a subscriber. So today I wanted to talk about what I feel like is the ultimate secret. You may have heard like the book The Secret, you may have heard other versions of The Secret, and things like that. And I want to share what I think the real secret is. So I'll be talking about how life takes care of life. How is it that life sustains life and it just all happens without anybody stressing about it, planning it, or having to do anything? Life is already just taking care of life. So that's what I'm going to be talking about and sharing with you what I've experienced and the things and insights that I've come across after having this non-dual realization. So I wanted to share something that kind of goes along with what's going to be talked about here. I had heard a story a while back and I wanted to look it up, so I just kind of Googled some of the words that I remembered. Although I didn't remember the whole story, I remembered that this would be a great story to go along with what we're talking about, life taking care of itself, or life taking care of life. So the story is the Chinese farmer, and I'm going to read it. I have it right here on my phone, so I'm just going to be reading it. Once upon a time, there was a Chinese farmer whose horse ran away. That evening, all of his neighbors came around to commiserate. They said, "We are so sorry to hear that your horse has run away. This is the most unfortunate." Then the farmer said, "Maybe." The next day, the horse came back, bringing 7 wild horses with it. And in the evening, everybody came back and said, "Oh, isn't that lucky? What a great turn of events. Now you have 8 horses." The farmer again said, "Maybe." The following day, his son tried to break one of the horses, and while riding it, he was thrown off the horse and he broke his leg. The neighbors then said, "Oh dear, that's too bad." The farmer responded, "Maybe." The next day, the officers came around to conscript people into the army, and they rejected his son because he had broken his leg. Again, all the neighbors came around and they said, "Isn't that great?" Again, the farmer said, "Maybe." So that is really the end of the story, at least the one that I found online. And as you can see, there was just different turns of events that happened, some of which outsiders and people could see that, "Oh no, that's an awful thing that happened," or, "I'm so sorry that that happened." And the farmer stayed with his maybe. So regardless of what happened, he was going to kind of let life play out and see what happens. So everything that he responded to was maybe. And in the end, what ended up happening was exactly what should have happened, and probably what was best for that whole situation. So we don't know how life is going to really play out. We sometimes are in these very difficult situations. We're in unpleasant situations. We're in hard and difficult spots sometimes in life. And we feel like everything is horrible, awful, and like they said in the story, maybe you have people around you saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry, you must be having some bad luck," or whatnot. But ultimately, we don't really know why these events happened, or in that moment, what's going to happen next. So while there are really no good or bad things that happen in life, everything is happening in perfect harmony. So even those unpleasant events, eventually those unpleasant and not so great events that happen are going to play out. And something will happen with those events. Usually something positive. In my experience, that's how it's been. And I can share some stories with you. And I don't really need to share any stories, honestly. You can just kind of think about your own life and situations that have happened that have been very difficult. And if you've lived past them now and you can look back, you can see that Everything happened exactly as it should have. And for the most part, something positive came from it. So we don't know what life is going to do. In the moment, things can appear good and bad, but all in all, things are always in control. There's always peace and harmony. And later down the road, you might see that that event was actually the best thing that ever happened to you. And at least that's how it's been for me. And I think a lot of people can agree. So if you've had a story of something in your life that you maybe in the moment thought was horrible or was unpleasant in some way, and then played out over some time to be something positive or good in your life, if you can, comment down below and share with everybody what that was. Most people can think of things like that in their life. And for me, there are quite a few things that have happened, although they're not that important anymore. Which is why I'm hesitant to share any of these stories, because for one, my memory isn't the greatest right now and I don't exactly remember all the details. But I can tell you some of my greatest moments have come or grown out of those most unpleasant moments. So my near-death experience came from me having a serious health condition that I was in and out of the hospital, not knowing what would happen, being very, very fearful. And out of that came my near-death experience. And with that, I would say it was one of the greatest experiences that I had at that time. A lot changed and a lot was shown to me at that time. Of course, this is all within the story. So it's all in the illusion, the near-death experience, all of that is within the illusion. That's everything I'm speaking of today will be within the illusion. So that came out of something that was very stressful and very negative for me. Okay. Another part that was very hard for me in life was trying to conceive my daughter. The struggle in trying to conceive her was very, very hard. It was also hard on the person. Okay, so on the self-esteem, on everything, it was just very difficult and draining. But from that and letting go and learning my lesson to let go and let life flow, I conceived my daughter. So that was the greatest thing that has happened to me in life. After that, so many other things have happened. There's always much smaller things, but I'm thinking about the things that have made the most difference in my life. Although things constantly happen where I've lost a job and then been given a whole greater, better opportunity afterwards. Or I've been in a situation, even financially, that didn't look so good and then suddenly everything changed. And everything seemed to change upon relaxation about the time that I started to trust in life. And that's when things would begin to change. So the other thing that happened was in my twin flame journey. So losing my twin flame, being in separation, was very, very painful. Then further from that, he died, and that was even worse. The pain that I felt inside, the emotions I was feeling were so hard. But when I surrendered, what happened was I had my non-dual realization. So if you want to learn more about that, you can watch some of my other videos about the twin flame journey, or you can look in the description box, and I have a very short book you can look at in there. So all of these things have come out of what I felt like were some of the hardest points in my life. Also, I experienced a divorce. That was very, very difficult. But coming out of that, I learned independence, I learned other things, and I learned to love again. So there are so many things that I can speak of and go into, but this video really isn't about me or the person. It's just about what life does and what the secret is. So that's what I'd like to share with you. We all have our stories. We all have our experiences, and you can kind of use those as a litmus test to what I'm going to be speaking about. So life is basically just happening. And I've heard this one quote a while back. It said, if we could live life backwards, we would understand it a whole lot better. And isn't that the truth? I mean, if I now look back, I understand so many of the things that happened a lot better than I did in those moments where I was maybe very frustrated, scared or anxious. So talking about being scared or anxious, that is something that only happens when you're in separation, when you're feeling separate from everything. So this is my body. It's here. I can feel it. And I'm not going to deny that there is a body here, because there is. Whether it's an illusion or not, this is as real as I know. So there is a body here, and I'm sure there's a body there. And we could say it's an illusion, but there is a body. What I will say is that what I am doesn't stop at this body. So all this space, everything around me in the universe is also me. So when that's recognized, you kind of can't really sustain emotions of fear, anxiety, or lack. When you are everything, how can you lack anything? But strangely enough, when this is realized, you become so abundant that you require less because you just have so much. It's kind of like people that suddenly get, win the lottery or get very rich or something. And then they have everything, and eventually they think at first that that's going to make them very happy and that they're going to be very fulfilled. But eventually that kind of just dwindles off, and again they find themselves in the same emotions in the same space that they were before. So items aren't exactly going to fulfill us. So after I had this realization that, I am really everything and I was so abundant, it kind of made me not want so much in the physical sense. So while before I was very into shopping, decorating, collecting, all of that really fell away for me, which is not a bad thing. Some people might say, oh, wow, so now you don't do that. Well, I still can do that, but I don't really have the need to do that. I feel like everything is part of me, and I can just look at something and experience it. I don't have to own it and take it home and guard it as my own. So everything to me just kind of is free flowing. It's already part of me. So I don't have to store up all of these things, collect all of these things. So after this realization, I've kind of let go of things, which has made life easier to flow and to be abundant as it's supposed to be. When you start trusting more in life, it just flows easier. So to let things flow easier, we have to get rid of or shed or just let it naturally fall away those things that just don't align with what you are. So what you are is already what you are. You are eternal. You are infinite. You are what is animating. You are life. And all of these things like fear, anxiety, lack, all of those things are not what that is. So they're not what that is. So when that is recognized, what you really are, those things that you are not just dwindle away, and then all that's left is what you are. So what's happening is just a misidentification of what you are. It's not something that you can do or not do. It will just naturally happen when you realize what you are. When you realize what you are, like I say, those other things just can't make it. They can't continue on with their stories and narratives about this or that because it's not true. Only truth can survive, and this just all naturally happens. It's not something that I can tell you how to do or say you're not doing. It just will all naturally happen when it's recognized. Anyhow, life now after having the non-dual realization has been very easy. Basically, it's living day by day. Living day by day and having all my needs met. Now, do I have a mansion, and is my bank account full of zeros, and am I a billionaire and all this stuff since having this realization? No, that's not how it works. Life's going to take care of you exactly however it wants to. So regardless of if you have realized this or not, life is already taking care of you, and it's going to take care of you however it wants to. If it wants you to be a millionaire or billionaire, that's what you will be. If it wants you to be whatever, that's what you will be. So it's all right, whatever you are. when this is realized, you realize whatever happens is exactly what should happen. So you're absolutely happy in that situation. And even in those unpleasant times that will occur, because this is not just bliss, this is not just happiness all the time. There are times that are unpleasant, there are times that are hard, there are times that are difficult. And those times are like the times that we spoke of in the Chinese farmer. Things will happen where maybe people will say, oh my goodness, that's awful that happened. Or even you might say, oh, I can't believe this is happening to me. This is not good. But out of those times, if you can look back later on, you will see that those were all meant to happen. Nothing is happening that shouldn't happen. Nothing is happening that is out of harmony or peace. So whatever is happening, even if it's unpleasant, just go with it. Just go with life, because life is doing life and taking care of it exactly how it needs to be taken care of. So that is just to say, trust in life. Trust that life takes care of itself. Does life take care of, animals that are out in the forest? Does life take care of plants and vegetation? Yes. Life pretty much takes care of life. And in those times that maybe something happens and life isn't taken care of the way that we think it is supposed to be, later we find out that whatever happened then was for a reason. We can't say in the moment, because that's one thing we can't do. We cannot look into the future. We cannot know that. We can't look into the future, and we can't look into the past accurately. So all we have is right now and what is happening. And it can't be any different. So wishing or wanting it to be this way or that way, or thinking it should be this way or whatever, is again a misidentification with all there is, because all there is what's literally happening. If you're wanting it to be different, you're misidentifying this moment. We don't know the future, we don't know the past, we just have what is happening. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. And in the past videos, I've also talked about how there is no purpose to life. There is no meaning to life. And while I can say that is still true, and I still believe that, if there was a purpose and if we had to come up with any kind of purpose for life, the purpose for life is living. So the only purpose to this life is for life, to be living, and everything that is occurring, whatever is happening, that is the only purpose. Life is just meant to be lived exactly as it should be, without commentaries or narratives of what should be or what could be. Just plain life. And if we can observe life without all of these commentaries and all of these thoughts and things like that, and just see it for what it really is, you would see how beautiful it really is. Just as it is, however it is for you, it'll be beautiful. So I just wanted to share that with you. I hope that you can allow life to flow. Not that you're doing it, but once you identify or you align with what you truly are already, this isn't something you don't have. You already have this. But once you see that, all of these trying to control life sort of behaviors like planning, wanting it to be this way, working hard, doing it this way and that way, killing ourselves for this or that, all falls away. You may have also heard about the cosmic joke. When this is seen, many people have bouts of laughter, and it's just this cosmic joke that, oh my goodness, I was never doing this. Well, that happened to me when I had this realization, and this all happened probably within a 3-minute time period, that everything was realized, and I was laughing at the fact that I had worked so hard and thought that I was doing all of these things, planning all of these things, doing all these different things and whatever, having all these goals, only to realize that I've never even been doing that. Whether those things I had done were successes or failures, I hadn't done any of it. So I'm not saying not to plan, not to care. That's not what this message is about. It's about letting life just happen as it happens, whatever's going to happen, without wanting it and trying to force it to be something that it's not. When life is happening a certain way, and it is that way currently, but you're wanting to force it a different way, that's where we struggle. That's where we suffer. And that's usually what doesn't happen anymore here. There's just a total acceptance for whatever is, and a total trust in life, that life is doing life in the most perfect way. And I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to plan. I don't have to force it. When things happen that I don't like, when things happen that could be looked at as bad or difficult, give it some time. You will see it'll all work itself out. Look at your experiences, observe it, use your intuition. Life takes care of life. If things are not happening like I say, give it time. I had the tendency in the past to, anytime something went wrong or someone was sick or something happened or whatever, that I immediately wanted to get it straightened out. I immediately wanted to get it figured out, and I would just kill myself. You know, something would happen, I would just run and try to figure out all the solutions, research everything I could, doing all this stuff, and I would stress myself so much that I couldn't sleep at night. I would stress myself so much that I would develop anxiety. But now when things happen, I just let them continue on to happen and see what happens from it. Of course, if something needs to be done, it'll happen. Whatever happens is exactly how it should happen. So you cannot go wrong in trusting life. So again, if there is any purpose to life, it is just to live life. That's all there is. And life will take care of itself. You don't have to worry about all of these things. Even finances, that is one of the main things that people come to me and ask me about. Finances will also take care of themselves. They just will. Even prior to me knowing this or having this shift, not that I know anything, it's just an experience that I had, but even prior to this, I've talked about that I was a Christian, and in that religion, one of the things that is really followed is tithing. So giving 10% of whatever you earn to God, and trusting that God will provide for you. And, you know, a lot of times in church circles, you will hear, you know, God provides, and they will have stories about how God provides, how God played a role and did things in their lives to make sure that they were taken care of. And those are the stories I'm talking about. God, whether you call it God, whether you call it energy, spirit, whatever you want to call it, whether you want to call it life, whether you want to call it source, I don't know, whatever you want to name that, it's all taking care of itself. And many religions realize this already. So this isn't a hidden secret, but it's a secret that people don't trust. And I want to say it is in line with what you truly are. Allow life to just take care of itself, because it's already doing that, and it doesn't need you to get into the way. If you get in the way of life, the only thing is you're going to stress your own mind out. You're going to get anxiety, fear, depression, and those things do not go in line with what you truly are. What you truly are is abundant, infinite. There is so many possibilities. There is so many options. There is so much that is just you. You are endless, eternal. There is nothing that can be taken away from you. There is nothing that can cage you. There is nothing that controls you. It's just life. It's just life happening. That's all that's happening. And it's very beautiful, and it's perfect how it is. There's nothing that needs controlling or doing. Everything is already happening exactly how it's going to happen. Trust in life, and life will provide for your finances, for your family, for your emotions, whatever it is that's going on with you today. Life will provide that for you. Just allow it, trust it, and life will provide it. So I hope you like this video. I hope you relate to it. If you have any stories about how life has provided for you, how life has just been working through you, please share that down below, just to encourage others that trusting in life is a real thing. You know, of course, again, this is all within the illusion, but this is as real as it's going to get. So, you know, it's all about what's happening. All right, thank you for watching.